Hey guys, welcome. In this video, I wanted to help you to answer the most important question that exists. And this is a question that I think is very taken for granted by 99% of human beings, and even the people who think that they already know the answer to this question are usually way off the mark. This is a question that is foundational to spiritual growth, philosophy, personal development. Just to live a good life, you're going to need to know the answer to this question. This question is, who are you? And I'm not saying, who are you as a person? I'm not asking you, what are your strengths? Or what are your likes and dislikes? What is your personality type? That's important. That's important to understand if you want to create a career for yourself that you're passionate about. That's important if you want to succeed in the world by playing to your strengths. It's very important to know who you are as a person, and I've talked a lot about that in other videos. But today we are going to be asking a deeper question, which is, who are you existentially? And even better, I like to phrase it as, what are you? You see, it's not as obvious as you might think. Normally, when I ask this question, what are you? People automatically become defensive because we think, oh, Adam, I already know what I am. I'm a human being. I'm a soul. Many people have a lot of beliefs about what you are. I'm awareness. See, look, Adam, I'm right here. I already know what I am. Why do I have to ask this question? So today I wanted to really question this notion that you think you already know what you are, because first of all, most people will already say, okay, well, I know that I'm the body. But notice that whatever you think you know that you are not actually that thing, because you are the one who is aware of that thing. So if you say, Adam, I'm the soul. Well, the soul, what is that? That is a thought that's in your mind. It's just a sound. Soul, it's just a sound. It's a noise. And you are not that noise. You are the one who is aware of that noise. You are the empty space in which that noise appears. So people will say, oh, well then I'm the awareness. Or I'm God. Okay, but still we're not making any progress, because this question, who are you, is not a question that can be solved conceptually. It's not some kind of belief or idea. So if you have a theory of what you are, or an idea, even if you have a strong conviction that your idea is true and correct, I want to question that. Because what you are, by definition, is not an idea. You are here now. You're alive. You exist. You're here. I'm not questioning that. You definitely exist. That's why you're listening to me now. You know that you exist. There is this kind of self-awareness that, okay, existence is here now. It's undoubtable. You do exist. But the question is, what do you exist as? What actually are you? You see, the problem is that when you identify with any name or form, so when you say, oh, I'm a human being, my name is Adam, I'm 21 years old, I'm 5'7", I have brown hair, I am a boy. So these qualities are things that you are identifying with. You think you are these qualities. You think you are this person with this story. But just notice right now that this story is not what you are. You are the one who is aware of the story. There is an awareness, a being, a presence that stays the same in every moment. It's constant. It's unchanging. This presence is you. You are here. You've always been here. In every moment of your life, regardless of how old you are or where you are in the world, the one thing that is always true, that's always present, is you. Your awareness. You, the fact that you're here. This is always true. It's always the case. Now, when we start going into stories like, oh, I'm 22 years old, I'm this tall, I'm this old. See, now we're starting to identify our awareness with forms and ideas. And these ideas, they're not really true because they are relative. They're impermanent. They're subject to change. So when you're 5 years old, you identify with that. You say, I'm 5 years old. But you don't realize that that same you is going to be the same awareness when you're 6 years old, and when you're 7 years old, and when you're 8 years old, and when you're 9 years old, and so on. Your awareness stays the same regardless of your age. You stay the same. The fact that you are here stays the same. I'm not talking about your body. I'm not talking about your story, your ideas, your beliefs about what this body is made of, how old this body is, the name of this body, the likes and dislikes of this body. I'm not talking about that because you're not the body. You are what is aware of the body. In the same way, imagine you're watching a movie and you see a character on the screen. That character on the screen is always moving, changing positions, changing age, changing clothes. That character's always in flux, always changing. But the screen itself is always a constant. It always stays the same. The screen is what allows for the character to exist in the first place. It's that space that allows the character to be projected onto it. So we've gotten a bit ahead of ourselves, but it's very important in philosophy. We ask this question, know thyself. That's the number one tenet of all philosophy. Know thyself. And what I'm saying here is not philosophy. This isn't beliefs or concepts or ideas, so many people will have gotten bored by now. Say, oh, Adam, you're just talking about airy-fairy, fantastical ideas, philosophical concepts, but I don't want this to be a philosophical video. I want this to be an empirical video, which means it's something that you can verify for yourself. I don't want you to believe me when I say you are the awareness. I don't want you to believe me. I don't want you to trust me or even to take on what I'm saying as, a new idea. I want you to verify what I'm saying in your own experience. My words are just pointers. I'm trying to point to your awareness to discover what it is to self-reflect. So the main question here in life, very important, guys. Hello, you're alive, but you're very fuzzy about what it actually means to be alive. What is you? What is aliveness? What is this? What is the body? What is the awareness? What is consciousness? Not really sure what it is. You might have an idea or a vague idea. Yeah, I kind of know what I am. Yeah, maybe I'm a soul that's kind of mixed with the body. And I have this, I'm the awareness, I'm God. See, all these ideas, concepts, it's not actually what you are. You're none of those. Whenever you come up with an idea, you're not that idea. You're the one that's aware of that idea. So let's do a little bit of investigation here. I just want to guide you towards investigating what you actually are to answer this question once and for all. Who are you? See, the reason why this is important, maybe perhaps I should have said this in the start of the video, but you can't actually gain lasting satisfaction and happiness in your life unless you know what you are. You can't actually feel fulfilled and to feel whole and complete unless you know what you are. Because otherwise, if you don't know what you are, if you're not aware of your being, if your awareness is being sucked into ideas and stories and names and forms and philosophies and theories, if your awareness is getting sucked into those theories, you're forgetting that you're not actually the individual person. You are whatever awareness is aware of that individual person. That awareness is unaffected by fear, by suffering, by grief and anger and hatred. All of these negative emotions that appear because of attachment, these will all disappear when you are able to ground yourself in your true nature, which is here, it's present. So in the same way, the character on the screen of the movie, the character, if that character forgets that he's just a screen and some light, that character thinks he actually is his face and his clothes and his body. He thinks he is his name and his story. That character is going to suffer a lot because that character is going to be attached to the outcome of the movie. If the villain comes in the movie and deploys his henchmen and starts chasing the character across the desert in this movie, this character is going to be deeply afraid of dying, is going to suffer, is going to have cravings and attachments because the character is in the movie but has forgotten that he is in a movie. It's like a dream. When you're in your dream and you're getting chased by a crocodile, this happened to me like 2 days ago. I was dreaming that a crocodile was chasing me. It says a lot about my subconscious mind, but we'll go into that in another episode. A crocodile was chasing me in my dream, and I was afraid. I thought this crocodile was actually going to bite me and kill me. I didn't want to get bitten. Because in this dream, I forgot who I was. I thought I was a character, but I forgot that I was awareness. Let me give you a practical example. So, about a year ago, I had to get my wisdom teeth removed, right? And I was very scared because, first of all, I didn't want to be put under with laughing gas just because it's like a whole ordeal. I'm going to be loopy for the next 2-3 days. It's going to ruin my mindfulness. I had just gone on a meditation retreat, and then this laughing gas is going to like blast my brain with these chemicals. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to be awake and aware just because I kind of wanted to have that experience of being surgically performed on, but actually being awake. It's kind of weird, but I wanted to be awake. I didn't want to like cheap out and just say like, okay, like put me under. I don't want to see it because it's kind of an avoidance, right? I wanted to see. I wanted to be awake and aware. So I was still very scared, and I've never had surgery done before. They're digging teeth out of the back of my mouth, and what I decided that, okay, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do meditation while they're doing it. So I went into the office, into the dentist chair. I was kind of nervous. What they did was they numbed my mouth, so they just shot like 10 needles into my mouth so that I couldn't feel anything at all. And these needles, first of all, hurt a lot. So one thing that I've learned how to do since I've been doing meditation, self-inquiry, which is the process of asking yourself who you are and grounding in your true nature, disidentifying from the character, from the sensations like pain, suffering, not resisting those sensations, but just kind of watching them neutrally, realizing that they're not actually you. They don't affect you. In the same way, if there's an explosion on the screen of the movie, sure, it might affect the characters in the movie, but it doesn't affect the screen. If there's a massacre on the movie, if the character on the screen is getting tortured, sure, it's very painful for the character, but it doesn't affect the screen. So in the same way, I was getting these teeth dug out of my mouth, and in order for me not to have a panic attack, basically, because it's very scary. This dentist was literally, he had a big metal tool, and he was digging into the back of my mouth, prying teeth out of the back of my mouth. It was terrifying. There was blood. There's a lot of pressure on my face. And it was just like, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually be there, having teeth dug out of your mouth. It sucked. It was very scary. So the only way that I was able to stay calm and to survive this experience was to do meditation and to ask myself this question. Who is aware of this experience? So yeah, sure, there's teeth being dug out right now, but who is aware of that? Who is watching this? And I was trying to pay attention and notice that sure, there's uncomfortability, there's a lot of, suffering on the screen, but I was asking myself, what is the screen? So what I was doing was I was just asking myself, who is aware of this? Who is aware of this? This is self-inquiry. So whenever you have some kind of thought, idea, feeling, sensation, ask yourself, who is aware of this? Who is aware that they're watching the video right now? They hear my words. There's words being said, blah, 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 blah. There's words, there's sounds. Okay, so that you're aware of the sounds, but who is aware of the sounds? Who is it? And when you ask this question, who is it? The point is not to get an answer. You're not going to get an answer. It's not, you're like, people, they try and find in your brain, who is it? As if you're going into your brain to see okay, who's the witness? You can't find the witness because the witness is witnessing. The witness is formless. It's like the character on the screen trying to find the screen. You can't find the screen. You have to just kind of have an internal knowing that you are the screen. It's not an object that appears in your awareness. So when I ask you, who are you? And you give me an answer that's an object. It's like, I'm a human. I'm Adam. Or even I'm a soul. I'm awareness. I'm God. See, when you give me an answer, that answer is an object. Even if you say I'm nothing, still you're wrong. Because nothing is still an object. It's a mental object. It's an idea. You're not that. The true answer when I ask you who you are, the true answer is silence and presence. So when I was getting my teeth dug out and I was able to do this self-inquiry process, I was actually just able to detach myself from the pain, and it was almost like I was getting my teeth dug out in my dream, and I was lucid. So if you're having a lucid dream that, a dentist is digging your teeth out, but then you become aware that you're dreaming, then it just kind of becomes like a fun, interesting experience because you know that you can't be harmed. You're the screen, right? The screen can't be harmed by whatever happens on the screen. The screen just is constant. It just stays there. It's empty. And that's what you are. That's your true nature. So I was just sitting there getting my teeth dug out and just kind of smiling. The dentist was like, stop smiling. I was smiling because it was kind of surreal. I was just tripping out. I would realize that since I'm dreaming, I'm actually digging my own teeth out of my mouth. It's like the characters in my dream are digging out the teeth of this one character's mouth. So, yeah, and the point is that I wasn't suffering. I wasn't resisting. I was completely neutral, just watching. See, normally what I would do is I would resist. I would be like, oh, it hurts. Oh, no. Try and like close yourself down to the feeling. But when you do this self-inquiry, when you can rest as awareness, what we're doing is we're opening ourselves up to feeling, allowing feelings to be there, and just asking yourself, who is aware of this feeling? Who? So here's a practical way that you can actually do self-inquiry. This is the practice of becoming aware of who you are, not as a thought or idea, not just believing Adam, or thinking that Adam's, you just talking about some philosophy. This self-inquiry is actually how you become aware of your true nature. And the words are kind of weird here because you can't really become aware of yourself because you are the part of yourself that is becoming aware. You are the awareness. So the goal is how do we ground ourselves in that awareness and to stop identifying with thoughts and concepts? Because what happens is this bare screen has the tendency to get sucked into ideas, concepts, forms, names, stories, narratives. So yeah, sure, for a few seconds, you might grasp, oh, I'm the awareness. And that's very liberating and freeing. But then after a few seconds, you're going to forget. And then the natural habitual tendency of your mind is to get sucked back into names and stories and labels and relativistic concepts and ideas and measurements. You are that which is beyond all form, all sights, sounds, tastes, smells, feelings, ideas, thoughts, concepts. You are none of those because you're the screen upon which any of those can appear. So we already talked about why it's important to realize this, because this is how you transcend suffering. When you are aware of who you are consistently in each moment, because it's one thing to become aware of who you are for a few seconds. That's good. That's a start. But then you're going to continually get sucked back in to egotistical identification and attachment. So how can we consistently stay aware of who we are? Because when I was in the dentist chair getting my teeth dug out, it was very easy for me to stay concentrated because I kind of had no choice. I was kind of backed into a corner. So I needed to be aware. Kind of like Shinzen Young, the Zen master, said that when he was on a meditation retreat in Japan, it was winter time, and every morning he had to wake up at 4 a.m, go out onto this frozen lake, he had to go on the frozen lake. He had to dig himself a hole in the ice to break the ice, get this bucket of water, fill the bucket of water with ice, and to pour it on himself. Of ice water, to pour it on himself. He said that was part of the retreat. That's what he had to do every single morning for 90 days straight at 3 a.m. Can you imagine that? So Shinzen Young said he noticed that after the second or third day, he was in complete agony, total hell. Because you're it's just pure freezing cold, almost on the level of hypothermia. And he said, at this moment, there was a fork in the road that he noticed because he already knew that he didn't want to quit. He said he became vividly aware that this retreat could go one of two ways. There's a fork in the road. He already knew he wasn't going to quit, so that wasn't an option. So he had 90 days left. here pouring ice water on himself every morning at 3 in the morning. So he said this could go one of two ways. Either I can be in complete agony, pain, and resistance for the next 90 days, and that would suck a lot. Almost, that would be unbearable. Or the other option could be that he could remain in a high state of concentration where he's aware of the present moment of his he's grounded in his true nature, aware of awareness, aware of now, high degrees of mindfulness. And he could stay completely concentrated for the next 90 days and it'll be a lot easier. So in that moment, he said he chose option 2. And after the third day, the next 87 days, he said were a breeze. He said they were so easy and he basically never suffered again. For that next 87 days was like a piece of cake. Because he committed to himself, he said he had to stay in that high state of concentration because, like I was in the dentist chair, he was backed into a corner. He really had no choice but to be aware of his true nature because he was deeply suffering. So, yeah, it's cool to become aware of self-inquiry, to be aware of the awareness. I'll teach you how to do that in just a second, but I'm going to be showing you how to actually stay consistent with it so that you're going to notice that you become aware of your true nature for a few seconds, but then you forget for a few hours or even a few days. You forget, you get re-identified with the ego. You have to continually remember. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. So first of all, in order to grasp your true nature, first of all, you need to do self-inquiry. And there's many different ways to do self-inquiry. I'm going to explain to you the way that I like the most. This is just my personal way. I will guide you through it right now. So first of all, you basically just become present in the moment. You can do this in any position. And it helps for me to kind of drop the need to control or manipulate reality, to just kind of rest in awareness, just to kind of sit there without the desire to move or manipulate the now. So you can check out my video, The Awesome Power of Just Sitting, where I show you how to do that as a practice. But for me, it just really helps just to get very present, letting go of the need to change or manipulate the moment. Becoming aware of the breath. I'm going to do another video about mindful breathing. Very important. That's my main practice, just mindful breathing. So I do some mindful breathing just to get present and aware here. And then you'll notice that, okay, so you're in reality. There's forms everywhere. There's sights, there's sounds, there's feelings, emotions. Whenever any of these, you can look at any of these forms. You could look at your hand, for example, right? You could take out your hand, look at it, and just ask yourself, who is aware of this hand? For me personally, the visuals don't really work for me because the visuals are very distracting. So you could use visuals, but I prefer to use feelings. So if you kind of just feel into your breath, ask yourself who is aware of this feeling. And then you might have a thought come into your mind. Ask yourself who is aware of this thought. So one way that I did this in the beginning that was very helpful was to do what's called neti meditation or self-inquiry, where you are negating what you are not so that you are left over with what you are. So ask yourself, am I the body? Am I my legs and my feet? Am I my hands? So for example, am I my hand? You can look at your hand and say, oh, obviously I'm not my hand because I'm aware of my hand. You don't say I am the hand. You say I'm aware. I have a hand. I'm aware of the hand. You don't say I am a hand. It's not what you are. So So we're trying to get what you are. So, okay, so you could even look at your body, be aware of your body, and notice, oh, I am not the body. Even though the body can move and do all these things, it can talk, this body isn't what I am fundamentally, because I am almost like the screen that the body is occurring on. So I'm not the body, I'm aware of the body. Now you can go into your 5 senses, look at your sights. Are you a sight? Are you a vision or a visual thing? Take objects, look at them, say, am I a sight? Is that what I am existentially? No. Am I a sound? No. Am I a smell? No. Am I a taste? No. Am I a feeling or an emotion? These ones kind of get complicated. So normally what happens when we do this self-inquiry is that we kind of get this feeling that's like in your head, where it's like you're trying to like be aware of like this witness. It's almost like there's a camera, like a little mini camera that's like pointing out. It's like in your brain that's like pointing out of your eyes, and you think, oh, that's what I am. It's like this vague feeling of awareness that's like in your skull. That's actually the ego. that's the pretend witness. So the true witness has no location. It doesn't even have a feeling. But when we're doing self-inquiry, the ego is going to feel attacked and is going to try and pretend to be the witness. So the ego is going to say, oh yeah, I know, I'm over here. Yeah, I'm in the skull. Like almost like a camera looking out of your eyes. That's what the Zen masters say. The ego, the witness is the last stand of the ego. So this witness, ask yourself, so if you get this vague feeling in your skull where you're like looking out, and you say, oh, that's what I am. I found it. I found what I am. Ask yourself, who's aware of that? And the goal, when you ask this question, who's aware, you're not trying to get an answer. You can't find who's aware. It's impossible. But it's like a hand trying to grab itself. Right now, what I want you to do, I want you to take your hand, try and grab your own hand with your hand. You can't do it. It doesn't work. Now, right now, try and see your own eyeballs without using a mirror. It doesn't work. You can't do it. In the same way, you can't be aware of your own awareness. You can't grasp your own awareness because your awareness is the thing that's doing the grasping. So you can't find your awareness. So when you ask this question, who is this experience occurring to? Who am I? Is another good question. Who is aware? Now, what am I? These are all questions that you can ask. What am I? Who am I? With my favorite one that always works really well is, who is this experience occurring to? That one works really, really well. Who is aware now? Another really good one. What is awareness? It's another really good one. And we're not trying to get an answer. We're just trying to rest in that. Because you already are the awareness. You can't you can't grasp it. You are it already. So all you need to do is remove the identification with forms and what you're not. When you remove the tendency for the awareness to cling and to get sucked into ideas, stories, concepts, thoughts, then you just rest as pure awareness. So in order to be the screen, you need to stop thinking that you are the character, and then you'll realize, oh, I am already the screen. You don't need to become the screen. You're already the screen. You need to stop thinking you're not the screen. That's why neti works really well. Neti translates to not this, not that. So we're trying to become aware of what we are not, so that we can, in contrast, be who we are. So you'll get a feeling. So we've already negated sights, sounds, tastes, smells. Let's say you get an emotion in your body, a feeling in your heart. Say, oh, I found my true nature. Oh, it's in my heart. Who's aware of that? Oh, I found the true nature God. Who's aware of that? So now we're going to get into ideas and concepts. Are you an idea and a concept? And this is the trickiest one, okay? People have the absolute most terrible ability to differentiate between a thought and awareness, okay? This is because the ego needs thoughts to stay alive. So whenever we do any kind of philosophy, epistemology, when I start talking about these personal development, self-actualization topics on this channel, one of the main tenets is that you are not a thought or awareness in concept. Remember my meditation master, he's like 70 years old. He's been studying Buddhism for like 50 years. He would tell me that the Dharma, which is the Buddhist teaching, if you want to summarize the Dharma in one sentence, it's the ability to discern between concept and that which is not concept. What's the difference between an idea, a thought, and that which is not an idea or a thought? So whenever you get some kind of idea or philosophy, like, oh, I got what I am, it's like this awareness that's like in my head, and it's nothingness or it's emptiness. It's my soul. Oh, I'm love. Adam, I know what I am. I'm love. No, you're not love. You are aware. You're not you. Who is aware of love? Now, love is just a word. So you might find that when you rest in your awareness without clinging to an idea or a thought or a concept, you might find you experience deep bliss and deep compassion and deep awareness. So love is kind of what you are. Awareness is kind of what you are. A nothingness, emptiness, void, God. These are all words that are trying to point to what you are. But they're very bad pointers, because what you are can't be pointed to, because it is the thing that is aware of the pointer. A word or a concept or an idea, it's just a pointer, it's just a label. You aren't the label or the pointer, you are the awareness that is aware of the label or the pointer, and you're not even that. So in your experience now, try and become aware of who is listening to this voice. Where is this voice hitting? What is awareness? What are you? You're here now, you're aware. What does it mean for you to be aware? How does that work? In Tantra, the word meditation translates to becoming familiar with oneself. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to become familiar with who you are, because you don't know what you are. See, that's the core problem. And when you don't know what you are, you will suffer deeply, because you will be attached. Because again, you are the character on the screen thinking that you need to fight to survive. That, if the villain comes and starts to attack you, you're going to feel pain because you're going to resist. But you're not the character, you're the screen. The screen doesn't suffer. The screen is beyond good and bad. The screen is beyond colors and shapes. It's just here. It's always here. The screen doesn't go away. When you're watching the movie, there's the one thing that stays the same in the movie. Because think about it, the movie is 2 hours long, and every single frame is different. No two frames are the same. Every single frame is changing constantly, flowing. But what's the one thing that stays the same throughout the entire movie that you're watching? The screen stays the same the whole time. The screen was there before the movie began. The screen is there during the entire movie. And the screen is also there At the end of the movie, after the movie's done, the screen remains. Why? Because the screen doesn't even exist. It's nothingness. So people ask, Adam, what happens after I die? Well, the problem is you're asking from a place where you think you're the body, or you're the ego. You're not the body or the ego. The ego is dying every second. Every moment, your body's changing and evolving and flowing. It's always changing. You're always dying. You're dying right now. Before this video began, you were a completely different person than what you are now. Your body might be in a different position. You're probably in a different time. You have different ideas in your head, different neural connections, a lot of different cells in your body. You're a different person. But see that same screen, that I am, that sense of now, of beingness, is still here. That's why Moses asked God, the burning bush, God, what are you? What if I go tell the Israelites where this message comes from? What will I tell them your name is? God said, I am that I am. Tell them that I am has sent you. I am. Moses wasn't talking to God as if God was separate. Moses was just aware of his true nature. He was aware of what he is, that I am. All right. So that was how you do self-inquiry. So the point is that throughout the day or while you're meditating, so you can do 30 minutes of just coming back to the awareness, coming back. So whenever anything happens, just ask yourself, who am I? And it's not something that requires a lot of effort. It's actually very effortless. So you can just sit and be. All right? You don't need to like force yourself to like be aware of what you are. You have to balance effort and surrender. So there's kind of a flow and a balance there. You'll get the hang of it. I'm going to make another video talking about balancing effort and surrender. If you want to check that out, it's linked right here. This was how to understand who you actually are. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.